Hey everyone, welcome back to Movies for Thoughts. Today we're going to be talking about the 2015 action sci-fi flick called Jurassic World. It is kind of a reboot slash opening of the second trilogy of the Jurassic Park universe. Because as you can see, there's some slight differences. This one's called Jurassic World. The originals from the 90s were called Jurassic Park. And it's a whole new world, essentially. See what I did there? It was a very nice play on words. Very nice play on words. Essentially, this time it's been a few years since the events of the first three movies. You know, Jurassic Park, where the park didn't open yet, the theme park didn't open yet, and a lot of people died. Or the Lost World, where they went to the second island, or Jurassic Park 3. John Hammond is dead by now. It's been a while since he died. His grandkids are all grown up. And now this theme park has been kind of rebooted in itself, and it's owned by this Indian billionaire called Simon Masrani, and under the management of Claire Dearing. There's a few more characters you need to know, such as Owen Grady, this Navy veteran, this macho guy, this action figure. Essentially, he trains the Velociraptors. He's this kind of guy that kind of says, like, I make my own rules. And then you have Claire Dearing's nephews, of course, who are visiting the island. Who you have Zach and Gray, Zach being the older one and Gray being the little kid that's obsessed with dinosaurs. Aren't we all? So what do you think about this Jurassic World movie? What's your opinion? Like, what's your first impression or second impression? Because we've all watched it a lot of times. It's that good of a movie.
Well, first, I thought it was definitely like... I would say it was definitely like, it's a hot take. I feel like it was better than the original.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Because Jurassic World, like, it just brought together like these concepts that was really nice, and the stunning visuals and the story that was being told made it like a classic favorite. Like you said, many people watched it time and time again. I personally liked the companionship we saw between Owen and the Velociraptors. I personally liked the suspense. I definitely liked the love story that was going on. I definitely liked the influence of like the kids and everything and like how they brought this mythological theme to real life in a way that like not many people
have seen before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the first park in the 90s, it didn't open because the experts were on the trip. The lawyer was there. The chaotician, the paleontologist, the archaeologist. They were there to see if the park was good enough, safe enough to open to the public. And in that first movie, they touched on some deeper meanings and themes like bioethics or morality. Like, just because your scientists can make something doesn't mean that they should. I think the quote in itself was, your scientists were so worried that if they could or couldn't, that they didn't stop to think if they shouldn't. But actually, in this Jurassic World sequel, they also touch on those things. Simon Masrani is asking his top scientist after the events that we'll soon talk about. I don't want to give any spoilers yet, guys. It's only been like 4 minutes. There's been a problem, and Simon Masrani asks his scientist, Hamada. Actually, no. His scientist was not Hamada, my bad, guys. I can't really remember the name right now. But his top scientist, right? He asks him, why is this new creature being so aggressive? And the scientist says, you asked me to make something cool, more teeth, bigger, more exciting. But Simon Masrani is like, I never asked you to make a monster, So we also have some themes of morality here that we're gonna dive deeper into. And that brings us to the big reveal, the Indominus Rex, guys. It's the villain of the story. So basically, the fields of science and paleontology have advanced. Now we have gene splicing and all these science-y genetics things. And the scientists at Jurassic World managed to create this new dinosaur, which is part T-Rex and part classified. But don't tell anybody I told you. It's also part Velociraptor. They're a very dangerous creature. So what do you think about the Indominus Rex?
First, I like the fact that they created something new because it doesn't exist, right? Scientifically, it doesn't exist, but it adds to this. It adds to, first of all, the fact of how science has evolved for so many years, and now they're able to add genes together to make something new. I feel like this touches on themes of maybe humans being their own creators and being able to be like inform their own gods. And I think it shows that humans shouldn't have that type of power, because obviously we know what happens with the Rex. Like, it goes on a rampage, they can't control it, it destroys everything. So at first I loved it because it was so cool. From my perspective, I think I watched it when I was what?
Probably not. I was seven. So
Probably like about 9-10 years old. I remember I watched it, I thought it was super cool because I've always wanted to see like something like that, but I feel like looking back at it at a much older age, I love the theme of how like humans shouldn't necessarily create what they don't understand or what they don't know.
exactly, and you mentioned something there that I think we should explore a bit more. You said that these scientists created something that didn't previously exist, and that's kind of the ethical part of it. You know, they just bought, like in the first movie, they brought extinct animals back to life, and they even did that with the velociraptors because those were real dinosaurs. But the Indominus Rex, it's not really a real dinosaur, and kind of talks about the dangers of playing God as an expression. It's not something humans should do. And then speaking of not existing, so Vic. He works for this company called InGen. It's a private military, because Jurassic World is not only a theme park, they also conduct research there. So he works for a private military, and he tells Owen about this idea to use the velociraptors as basically like weapons. And Owen and his friend Barry tell him, like, you come here, you look at these animals, and you don't learn anything. You only learn what you want to know, right? And that's kind of the dangers of creating something so powerful, you know. And then Vic Hoskins tells him extinct animals have no rights, and that's kind of the morality in it. Like, these are these living beings? Well, obviously they are. Are they our property? Do they have rights just like other animals do? Are they protected? Can we use them as weapons? And that's kind of a lot of things that this movie touches on, you know. What do you think about the velociraptors? Speaking of that, I think their names were Blue, obviously, leader of the pack, you know, the beta, because Owen's the alpha, as he jokingly says. We have Charlie, Echo, and Delta. What do you think about them?
I think I love the fact that they were companions for Owen. I love the fact that, you know, it showed that these aren't just like, because most people, when they think about dinosaurs or whatever, they view them as monsters in a form. And the reason that like them being extinct was a good thing, because like only like God knows what would happen if humans and dinosaurs lived together. But it kind of showed like an alternative future that like it could have been possible. Like them being able to bond on a level, being different species, it showed this kind of like bonding in terms of trust because of who they are with each other. But going back to what you said earlier, I think that's definitely an interesting topic, talking about how even though they were brought back from extinction, should they still be protected? And I think in today's modern world, when we have so much emphasis and protections for animals that are about to go extinct, what much more for animals that were extinct but brought back? And if these animals are brought back, are they supposed to, like, using them for like military purposes? Is that right? Is it right? Is it a good form to use like something that was once considered like historical legend?
Is it even right to bring them back in the first place?
That's a good question. And I think, the movie doesn't answer those questions. It's left to the viewer, the reader, to answer those questions for themselves, come up with their own hypothesis. But I definitely think that it showed two forms. That one, yes, it is good to bring back dinosaurs because we can learn to live with them, learn to
Research, you know.
coexist with them, research them, but like the existing with these animals, kind of like what Owen did with the velociraptors. But at the same time, if we bring them back, maybe it isn't ethical to change their genetics, like we see with the Rex. And from that perspective, we get to like learn that maybe not, if you can do something scientifically, maybe it isn't always right to do it.
They were so worried with thinking if they could or couldn't that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yes, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a very deep movie, and just because it's a sequel, maybe people don't see that, but it is a very great movie. And like other than the deeper themes, like we didn't even really discuss the plot, the thing that's right in front of your face. These are just like things you get as you go along, and you watch it, and you even rewatch it if you want, because it's really a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like let's talk about some of the characters. What do you think about the nephews, Zach and Gray?
Looking back, I don't really remember too much about them, but I like the fact that they were like, because I'm pretty sure they were very interested in these animals.
Well, Gray was.
Gray was at least, yeah. And his interest to me like kind of reflects my personal inner interest, because it made me think, what would my reaction be if I was in a similar situation, right? Would I be like very interested and intrigued, or am I just waiting to go home? So I think that their contrasting interests kind of shows two different viewpoints in how one might approach like a potential Jurassic world. And it draws the reader in from both sides to basically assimilate themselves into the roles of the kids.
I mean, like you just said, like sometimes you're just like left with your jaw dropped. I remember watching this movie when I was younger, and I went home, and that day I became obsessed with dinosaurs. I still remember it clearly. I went home and I told my parents about this movie, because really, like, this is a reboot. This is a kind of trilogy reboot, but the whole concept, the legacy of, I mean, he's still alive, but like what Steven Spielberg has left us with, you know, it's just amazing. It opened our eyes, and even though these dinosaurs may not be the most historically, paleontologically accurate, you know, creatures there are, it's still like shocking to see. And just like Sam Neill's reaction Sam Neill's the actor, but just like his character's reaction in the first movie when he saw a dinosaur for the first time, you know, welcome to Jurassic Park. And now in 2015, VFX, visual effects, and CGI has like advanced so much. Even old school techniques like puppets and what do you call it? Like the thing, animatronics. That has advanced so much. It just broadens our perspectives, and we have more dinosaurs than before. We have newer dinosaurs. We have dinosaurs that never existed. You know, it just broadens the horizons. So, I mean, it's an amazing movie, and like we didn't even touch on the main characters, which are Owen Grady and Claire Dearing. Like, what do you think about their personalities, like contrasting with each other?
I think that, again, like I said with Cody and Zach, I think that their personalities, like their contrasting personalities, draws the reader in. I think that it builds sympathy for which version of yourself you kind of like identify with. And I personally liked Owen. I liked him a lot.
I love that guy.
I like the fact that he didn't just see the velociraptors or even any of the dinosaurs as monsters, but instead of a species or like I would say he kind of humanized them, and basically gave them this sense of like feelings and like connection and bond. And I think that, to me, I really, especially as someone that like really got, like you said, got interested into dinosaurs after that, I really respected that. And I saw that as a noble act, and I saw him as being a noble person, contrasting with everything else that was going on. So yeah, I think that they were very pivotal to making the movie what it was, and the impact the movie had on people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, compare Owen with like like Vic Hoskins or Doctor Wu, and we're talking about this movie and the impact of characters like Owen broadening our horizons, but we don't even have to talk about that because he does that to other characters in the movie. Like Claire Dearing, remember how she's this very sort of stuck-up woman, sees dinosaurs as numbers. You know, when Simon Masrani asks her on the helicopter ride, like, are the dinosaurs happy? Are they enjoying life? She's like, there's not a way to measure a dinosaur's happiness. And then Masrani's like, yes, you look them in the eyes. And she doesn't see that yet, but it's only she only starts seeing that when she meets Owen. And although the movie ended and we didn't get to see much of the relationship because they ended up dating, you know, opposites attract. In the next movie, we see Claire now is this like advocate for dinosaur rights, and it's all because of Owen, you know. Even if they did end up breaking up in the sequels, but that's because maybe they became too much alike and opposites didn't attract anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, Owen's a really great guy, and he's only part of what makes this movie so great. You know, Jurassic World, like it's in the name, guys. Like world because it's so large. It's a whole universe of possibilities. You know, now we have Jurassic World 5 coming up. You know, it's not starring Owen or anything, unfortunately, but it is starring Scarlett Johansson, who herself was a fan of the originals and the sequels. So we're very excited, guys. It's coming out in less than 6 months, in the summer of 2025. And, you know, maybe you guys will get to enjoy another episode when that comes out. That's it for today, guys, and we'll see you next time on Movies for Thoughts.